Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yeah. And we are still working our way through Shostakovich. I think we've got about 5 more videos of Shostakovich to go, which would be kind of exciting, actually, because the music is just limitlessly thrilling. And here is our first clump. Oh, there we go. You know, one of you mentioned that watching this was kind of like watching The Big Bang Theory, you know, Sheldon doing Fun with Flags. And I'm quite honored by the comparison because I really like The Big Bang Theory. And when I first saw Sheldon and Amy Farrah Fowler doing Fun with Flags, I thought to myself, oh God, doesn't that look like something I might do? So I'm honored by the comparison. Thank you very much. Now, let's get into Shostakovich, shall we? As we work our way in reverse alphabetical order and fill up this wonderful facility that I've had constructed to house my overflow room. All right, first, Shostakovich Symphonies 1 and 6, Ashkenazy and the Royal Philharmonic. Ashkenazy's Shostakovich cycle is the most underrated Shostakovich cycle out there. It was done with the Royal Phil and the St. Petersburg Phil, and the performances are all very good, and I enjoy them. They're not perhaps the most distinctive or like gut-wrenching in the world. I mean, this disc of 1 and 6, they're normal performances. You know, they sound like the music should sound like, but on the other hand, Ashkenazy doesn't do anything bizarre, and he doesn't put a foot wrong, and he certainly understands the idiom, and they play it really well, and they're very well recorded. So yeah, I like them, and I hung on to them. I have them individually and in the box. So there you go. Shostakovich Symphony number 6 with the execution of Stepan Razin. I saved this because of the execution of Stepan Razin, which is wonderful post-Babi Yar piece. This is with Anatoly Lochak of the Russian State Symphony Orchestra under Valery Polyansky, who is a perfectly dreadful conductor of orchestral music most of the time. I mean, he made a whole batch of these things for Chandos, presumably because they were cheap, and they were not very good. They really weren't. He's better in choral music. He's better in the cantata, which is why I saved this. But the 6th Symphony is nothing to write home about. Then we've got this Leningrad Symphony with the Russian Philharmonic under Dmitry Yablonsky on Naxos. It's really very good. I mean, it's an exciting performance. It's decently played and recorded. It's not going to win any awards for most thrilling, and it's not going to be in anyone's top, few, because the piece has just been done so much now. But this was kind of a one-off recording, and it's really surprisingly fine. I think it was worth hanging on to. I particularly like the first movement, which comes in at 25 minutes, which is about as long as it has any right to be, although many people add 5 minutes or so to it. So I'm hanging on to it, even though I'll probably listen to it once every 150 years or so. Then we've got, oh, look at this. This was really cool. This is Shostakovich playing the piano duet version with Moisey Weinberg of his 10th Symphony. Wow, baby. Isn't that serious? And it's on Russian Revelation, which is some sort of like Melodia, sub thing, or I don't know if there was actually a license involved. Probably not. But this is it. And this was kind of exciting. When people heard it, it was really kind of nifty because it gives you timings which are usually a little swifter than what we hear these days. 21 minutes for the first movement, 3 minutes and 46 seconds for the scherzo. Whoa, is that a bruiser of a tempo? Although there are some people who manage it. And I really think it's worth hearing. People should hear this for just a sense of how the music should flow. And it was recorded in 1954 in sort of grotty sound, but that's okay. Then you've got the 4 preludes for violin and piano from 24 Preludes, Opus 34, arranged by Dmitry Tsiganov with Leonid Kogan and Shostakovich at the piano, and music from The Gadfly, the main theme. I mean, this is all Shostakovich playing the piano. So that was like important. And then there's this sucker. What is this? Oh, this is also a Russian Revelation. This is his first cello concerto with Oistrakh conducting and Rostropovich playing the cello from 1965. and the Cello Concerto Number 2, also with Oistrakh and Rostropovich from 1967. And then Satires, which was a fabulous song cycle with Rostropovich and Vishnevskaya, which was immediately banned when it was written. Of course, it's a broadcast that was supposed to be done, but somehow it got recorded. Then this is from 67. So there, an important Shostakovich historical recording. Cello Concerto Number 1, Cello Concerto Number 2, Misha Maisky, London Symphony, Michael Tilson Thomas. Good performances, nothing to complain about. I hang on to them because no one will ever remember them if I don't keep them. I mean, people just ignore this stuff. And there's so many recordings of everything now that it's sort of hard to keep track of them all. So I'm trying to keep track of them, and it's very good. And someday I'll revisit it and maybe talk about it a little more extensively. What I really wish, and I'm hoping for, is that some year it will be possible, although I doubt it will ever be possible, for me to use sound clips and get permissions, copyright permissions, to do real videos where I can make comparisons in real time between versions. That would be thrilling. And then I'll have them. Probably like the world will end first, but hope springs eternal. Oh, here's a surprise: Shostakovich 8th with the Atlanta Symphony and Yoel Levy. Really surprisingly good, intense, wonderfully recorded by Telarc. You got these originally because of the sonics, which are always like terrific, but it's a fine performance that no one pays any attention to whatsoever. Shostakovich Symphony Number 9 with Vladimir Fedosiev. And the suite from Katerina Izmailova, which is actually why I got the disc. Good, solid, decent performances with the Moscow Radio Symphony. Fedosiev was never anything to write home about, but he certainly gets this music. It's played well, and it's on Canyon Classics, the Japanese label. Another sonic reason to have this stuff, because boy, does it sound good. Ballet for a Lonely Violinist. Okay, so this is a BIS recording of Vadim Guzman with Angela Yaffe, piano. And they're doing the Shostakovich Violin Sonata, which is Opus 134, which is lovely, and the Jazz Suite Number 1, arranged for violin and piano by Michael Gluzman. And then we've got Lyra Auerbach, wonderful modern composer who writes quite often in the style of Shostakovich, or not like deliberately, but her own style is somewhat similar. The Lonely Suite, Ballet for a Lonely Violinist, 10 minutes of charming music, along with the second sonata for violin and piano, subtitled September 11th. Ooh, yeah, baby. I don't like September 11th pieces, but I like Lyra Auerbach, so what the heck? It's on BIS. September 11th pieces. People should never do that sort of thing. I mean, you can have commemorative concerts where you play other music, and you can compose music in commemoration of things a long time after the event. But most of these September 11th things were just jumped on, by the classical music community like fleas on a dog, and they were just awful, including the Pulitzer Prize winning On the Transmigration of Souls by John Adams, which I saw the premiere of, and which was like, ugh, it was horrible. So there you go. All right, Shostakovich Symphony Number 9, Festive Overture, Suite from Katerina Izmailova, T for 2, Scottish National Orchestra, Nimi Yarvi. Yo, baby! This is the real deal. Oh my God. It's not the most subtle Shostakovich in the world, but they just rip into it, and Yarvi lets them play, and the Festive Overture will knock you through your back wall, and the suite from Katerina Izmailova, which is, of course, Lady Macbeth of Mtsensk District, has some unbelievably screamy interludes that are unbelievably screamy here. It's a thriller. Shostakovich 5th, the Warsaw Philharmonic, Witold Rawicki. I just saved it because it was Witold Rawicki. We don't have so many recordings by him. And he's most famous for doing like the Rachmaninoff Second Piano Concerto with Richter. That was like, oh, that's Witold Rawicki. And, so I have this. And it's not the greatest Shostakovich 5th ever, but it's certainly nice to have. And Francesca de Rimini with Leningrad and Rozhdestvensky, also fun to have. This is from 1960 and 61. So, when they were all still good old dyed-in-the-wool communists. And it's great to have that stuff. Let's see. Shostakovich 1 and 9. The Orchestral de la Suisse Romande with Walter Weller, however you want to say it, with his Age of Gold Ballet Suite, the Martinon recording. The symphonies 1 and 9 are good performances. Walter Weller was a good, solid conductor. He did quite a bit of stuff for Decca. I wonder if they're ever going to do a Walter Weller box. Eloquence. It's really quite. There's a Prokofiev cycle, a Rachmaninoff cycle. He did some nifty things. He recorded some Martinu for EMI. He was sort of all over the place. It would be interesting to see if there's stuff in there that needs more stuff in there that needs to be dug out, just to sort of like for fun. Chandos did a Beethoven cycle with him, and as Brian Cousins or one of those Cousins guys said, it was just for me, which was good because no one else cared. Anyway, Shostakovich 8th, LSO and Previn. This was the one most of us heard the 8th from, because there weren't many recordings in the West. And when Previn did this, it was almost a discographic premiere. It was as good as unknown. The symphony was really, really off the charts in terms of people's knowledge of it. It's a very, very fine performance. Exciting and well played and really well recorded, and a good bit quicker than Previn's remake with the same orchestra on DG, where everything has slowed down considerably. This is the one to get. And let's see. Shostakovich 10, Ballet Suite number 4 with Järvi and Scottish National, just like the 9th. It's just a lollapalooza. He gets through the second movement in 4 minutes and 3 seconds, which if you include the pauses is like a little under 4 minutes, which is, almost Shostakovich's own tempo, which is like, ooh, yeah. The way it's supposed to go. And here's his Shostakovich 5 with the Ballet Suite from the Bolt. Another, these are all of a type. And if you want one, you want them all. His Chandler Shostakovich, Järvi's that is, was really the best. Shostakovich he did, because afterwards he jumped ship for 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 and did them with Gothenburg and Deutsche Grammophon, where they were neither as well recorded nor as thrillingly played because, Scottish National is just revved up for this stuff. Gothenburg's very good. I've said this before. Those are very good performances too, but these are special performances. That's what we want. And then we've got Shostakovich playing the piano in some of his preludes and fugues and the 3 fantastic dances. These were recorded between 1951 and 1956, it seems. Here we go, on Russian Revelation. Shostakovich was not the best performer of his own music. His tone was rather brittle. His tempi were somewhat, a little hurried sometimes. But it's always interesting to hear the composer do their own work. And Shostakovich was a very, very fine pianist. He was technically very well equipped, and in the 50s he was in very good shape in terms of his technique. So yeah, I keep it because it's him doing him. And there you have it, my friends, the first pile from the Overflow room. More to come, and keep on listening. Take care.